ZUZ Ascended Structures is a cross-platform mod that gives us several new, mostly cosmetic structures, as well as a lot of vanilla pieces with some quality of life updates. Let's dive in and see if we can figure out what it's all about. The mod gives us a heap of alternative pieces to their vanilla equivalents that offer more storage, a few quality of life changes, as well as a pin code option. Several of the pieces are smaller and quieter, with some costing the same engram points while others cost 0. And the quality of life changes are a welcome addition. The water well can be placed anywhere and supply water in a decent range, although I couldn't get water containers to fill in the inventory. The chem bench has an option to convert organic poly to hard poly. The fridge can now hold things its vanilla version can't. The crop plots hold a huge amount and grow crops a lot faster. While the compost bin has a new fertiliser option worth 5 ordinary fertilisers. The sap tap has a new option that doesn't require a tree platform and makes an insane amount of sap. The new tech binoculars are available early on and remove the overlay, which makes them so much better to use than the normal version for mine. The tech wrap is also much smaller and quieter, and along with the increased storage space makes it an attractive alternative to the normal version. The cloning chamber is way smaller and does the cloning procedure, well, almost instantly. The tech transmitter can be used as a boss terminal to make running bosses quicker and easier, and the cryopods allow for a much faster capture compared to normal cryos. And then we have the new additions. Seed and fertiliser box is a storage option for your seeds and fertiliser with a greatly extended spoil timer for your seeds. The decor station allows you to craft a heap of rocks, trees, flowers and plants, many of which don't appear in the other standalone mods that do the same thing. There are a few blueprint boxes that store blueprints solely for the type listed on the box, but be warned, they are so tiny that you might trip over them if you're not careful. And I did have a few issues with placing them that I couldn't seem to figure out, but hopefully that gets sorted soon. There are 4 boxes for ammo and tools that specifically store only certain items, including firearm ammo and explosives, arrows and other projectiles, attachments, and 1 for tools. The large 3D world map is a really cool looking addition that has an option for either the island or scorched earth, but has no real purpose other than the aesthetics. The 2 larger weapons and armor boxes look really cool and give you a place to store all your weapons and armor, but again, nothing else. The 7 different armour stands that each have a male and female option let you store that particular type of armour only, which is perfect if you have accumulated a heap of armour and want a way to keep them separate and easy to find. The ammo auto crafter can do what it says, auto craft ammo, or simply be used to quickly craft ammo as you choose. Just be careful of using the auto element shard option, it seemed to bug out a bit for me. The auto ingredient crafter is basically like an advanced chem bench with the addition of converting organic poly into hard poly. The gear cabinet for flak armour is a place you can store your flak gear as a whole or some options for each piece. There is an auto equip feature that doesn't work the way I think it was intended and transfers all items into your inventory, but the storage option still works the same as for the other pieces. The saddle boxes have 5 options for different types of saddles, and only those types of saddles can be stored in each box. The chibi box allows you to craft and store many of the current available chibis. The tech weapon box is simply a place to store all your tech related weapons and ammo. The auto repair station is intended to auto repair items placed in it, but I couldn't get it to work with or without required resources in the inventory, and the auto pull didn't work either. I also couldn't get the breeding station to work. Perhaps again it was simply me not seeing the right instructions, but I hope whatever the case that it gets updated soon, as I really like the idea. The tech box comes in 3 varieties, 1 for structures and 2 to hold artifacts and tributes. A handy feature is that it shows what is required for each boss fight, so you can make sure you have enough and grab only what you need. And there's even a couple of shag rugs for a bit of decoration. Okay, pros. Being a hoarder, I love the idea of new storage options for different things. I mean, if I'm looking for weapons, I look in the weapons box. If I'm looking for shotgun ammo, I can run to the ammo box and load up. I mean, obviously you could do the same thing with bolts and naming them, but most of the pieces look great and help add some life to any base design. For mine, the mod alternatives to vanilla pieces and the quality of life changes are just as valuable as the cosmetic storage options. For anyone that's looking for a quality of life mod, there are plenty of things here, from simple extra storage space to small improvements and even some tweaks to the tech tier stuff. The smaller mod size makes it easy to include in your mod list even if you only want to use it for a few pieces, and many of the storage sizes can even be changed with the ini files, but those on console will unfortunately miss out on that option. Okay, cons. Many of the new cosmetic storage structures look great, but are limited in what they can be used for, with some of the larger pieces taking up a fair chunk of real estate. Although I'm sure those with larger bases, end game bases, would have no problem integrating many of the pieces into their designs and might even love the unique options given they would have plenty of gear to store and sort. There are a few things missing like the flak armor option on the mannequin stands, but could easily be added down the track. A few of the holograms are really hard to see and make figuring out which storage option is which a lot harder than I feel it should be. There's still a handful of things that don't seem to be working the way they should, but the lack of a Discord means there's no way for players to report bugs, ask any questions, or be kept up to date, which can lead to issues due to a lack of communication. With the demand for and massive amount of cosmetic skins for players and structures in recent time, it's no surprise that mod authors are starting to add more actual custom looking structures to give more options for players in designing their bases. And there are plenty in this mod. The designs of the new pieces look great and give players some options for dedicated storage for particular items to free up space in other general storage areas. And the quality of life options for the vanilla structure alternatives are a real nice addition and worth checking out the mod for those alone. In fact, there are even a few pieces that are worth checking out even if you don't use any of the others. But the limited ability to store things in each piece is both a strength and a weakness depending on each particular player's game style. Using many of the storage option in smaller bases is basically not going to happen and is more aimed at those with larger endgame designs. There are a few issues and bugs that would be nice to see addressed to unlock the full potential of the pieces, but with no feedback options available, players that do find bugs or can't get something to work are likely to either not use those things or even walk away from the mod, which would be a real shame as there's plenty of good things here. All in all, I see a lot of potential and I'm looking forward to future updates. I would definitely encourage anyone curious about it to check it out and have a play with it for themselves. I'm going to give ZUZ Ascended Structures 3 stars, and make sure you check out these other reviews of some mods that can perhaps add even more fun and value to your game.